Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boys, PD and Cal. What's rocking,
Man,
guys?
you don't know who we are, do you? Yeah, man, I'm ready to rock.
What's going on?
So today we're going to be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man is being closed down by Marvel. Why? Is the question we all have. Hickman, who basically had a 2-year storyline, is asking himself. He says the comic book is running pretty successfully. So why are they doing it? Especially when you have the juggernaut of the absolute DC line of Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern just tearing things up. Why are they closing down the Ultimate Universe? I defer to PD on this, or are you going to pass this again, PD?
Are you passing it to me again? Well, I don't know. They said it's a 2 year thing, and then they want to end it. He's saying, why don't we keep going? It's selling. So it's a kind of an odd thing. I would say it's something else, possibly how much he's getting paid, and they're saying the cost may be too much, but they're not telling us what it is, why they're canceling it. There is some buzz and some positive buzz about his version, because this is not the Spider-Man who died during the Bendis one. This is a totally different timeline, ultimate timeline, where he's married to Mary Jane and wants to have kids or something, or a kid. So it's a totally different kind of line by Hickman. So it allowed Hickman to play his totally own area. And it seemed like it was selling, and then they're saying they're shutting it down, and they can't figure why. He can't figure why it's being shut down. That's as much as I can give you.
Yeah. What about you, Cal? What's your take on this?
Well, one line is successful, people like it, and the trouble is when you juxtapose the Ultimate line with what's going on with the 616 universe, you can see there's a lot of problems with the 616 universe. So I'm not sure if that might have been something where these cats were like, I don't know if we want to keep this running. We got our own ideas over here, and we don't necessarily want to compete with ourselves. But uh, they're saying that Hickman initially had a 2 year and out storyline. Look, we got 2 year out, we got 2 years worth of stories. This is going to be the results, got a beginning, middle, and end, and then we're going to check out. However, Hickman himself is saying, I didn't think they would shut it down because it's successful. It's rare that they go over here and they stick to these higher artistic values. If it's making money for them, they tend to keep it going. So like Petey was saying, there's probably some other stuff going on that we don't know about. But for me, I'm looking at this, it's successful. They probably don't want to compete with this and whatever else that they have an eye for. So it might actually mean that some of the things that Hickman is doing here, they're planning on doing with the 616 universe, and they just don't want to have to compete. They don't want to have to compete with uh, they don't have to compete with themselves. They don't have to compete with this successful alternative, any of those things that would actually fit into that narrative. Because otherwise, I don't see why they're shutting it down if it's successful.
So I got a
I,
question.
I, I
Does anyone know what Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion is?
yeah, I've been reading it. Everyone encouraging is just a basic briefing. Is that you have Miles Morales, his sister has been dragged back to that new to the universe, the Ultimate Universe, and they think that this is basically saying that there's going to be the I guess Reed Richards, the bad Reed Richards is going to come back, and everybody's
The
trying to grab
maker.
the maker. Everybody's trying to grab her, thinking that she would be the tool to use because she's gonna, So that's basically what's going on in that particular universe. Um, so we'll see what happens, and I
So
don't think that they're talking about making that she's a weapon or she's the key to get the maker out or to control the maker or something like that. So that's the whole incursions going on.
so I have the top 10 of June. So you
Bring it
have
on, baby. Bring it on.
I have
I got
it's on there already. So if you look at it, there's Batman, there's Ultimate Incursion, Spider-Man Incursion, obviously Superman number 8, they're doing well. But then Spider-Man and then Ultimate Spider-Man is number 7. So 18 was number 7, and so it was doing well as the close to what the regular Spider-Man books are doing. So it doesn't seem like it makes sense why they would cancel it if it's doing as well or close to what the Spider-Man books are doing.
I think I know why.
Why?
It's
Let's hear
pure
it.
speculation, 100%. Putting
By
on my
who?
business.
Speculation by
I'm,
Marvel?
I'm putting on my hat. You guys are going to agree with me right here, and you guys too.
Speculation by him.
So Marvel is now being run by one of the greatest creators in Marvel right now. Through the movie,
Kevin
through
Feige.
a potential employer, through the movie division, Kevin Feige. My thought is, and the same thing happens with the whole X-Men that they kind of cleared up, they relaunched that whole line. If they're trying to simplify it and bring it back to basics,
Do you
you
see
know,
the
they
X
want to
Men in
stick.
this top 10? Do you see the X Men in this top 10?
They just relaunched the X-Men. Did you go to the X-Men panel? I did. I'll tell you, they said
Isn't
they're
that
relaunching.
isn't that usually a good thing? Doesn't that usually just jump them right to the top?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at of the 2024 sales. X-Men is X-Men Ultimate X-Men #1 is there, but they're relaunching the X-Men and there's the Age of Revelation. They're talking about all that, and that's the big thing for this year. The only problem is there's tons of titles. You know, I always talk about X-Men have way too many titles. But
I'm
getting
saying
back,
they had a reboot. They had a reboot before this, right?
right? But
The
get,
only
but
thing
get,
that's up here is Ultimate Wolverine in June. It's only what? It's a few. It's like six, what, like 5 months since. So yeah, this new X Men stuff probably is in there, but we don't see a sign of it. We see Ultimate Spider
I
Man.
know, but we digress. We're saying why do we think they're doing it? I think they're doing it because they really want to simplify. They want to include the X-Men. They want to get Spider-Man out, and they think the whole Ultimate Universe, while successful for comic book readers, is diversion from the core Spider-Man brand, right? Of what he does. So that's my take on it. And remember, Kevin, our resumes are in. Happy to be. I don't have to be
Can a,
a writer.
can
I'm
a,
happy to be a junior producer. We are down for it.
can the
Anytime you want us,
resumes be in and he be wrong?
it's okay. He can be wrong. He wants to be wrong. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm not saying he wants to be wrong. We say that he's wrong. That if you have, I'm saying I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm interested in Ultimate Spider-Man, but at the same time, it's like what was it well, it's like the idea of you have something that's rolling and doing well, you leave it alone. I understand how Marvel or
But it takes
Shield,
you away from your brand. If your brand is your,
well,
we
it
want to
does,
have,
but
you
you
want to
always
bring.
go
It's
back
a,
to whatever you
it's,
want to do.
it's a different Spider-Man. This is a whole nother world. This is a whole nother Spider-Man. This is an elsewhere Spider-Man. This is not Spider-Man. And I think that's why they want to get it back. Spider-Man is one of their top selling titles. Even the back issues of Spider-Man sell, which is crazy.
So why are
Why?
you fixing something that doesn't need to be fixed? The movies are gonna sell, the toys are gonna sell, the comics are selling.
I think they just want to make it more in line to make sure there's no need. This is just pure comic book right now. And of course, they're making probably a couple million off of this, but the movies and TV shows are going to make tens to hundreds of millions of dollars, you know? So, I mean, that's just my junior producer hat. I could be wrong. Feige,
But let's, let's
send
talk
it
to
up.
your comic book producer hat.
My comic producer, yo, keep making the damn Ultimate comic book. What the
That's
hell?
all.
We're
That's
making a
all
lot of
I'm
money. That's what we're
talking to.
doing.
Yeah.
Don't try to trick me like that, PD. I'm gonna take that hat back off. Cal, what's your take on this, man? So we wrapping this up? Are you on agreement with me once again, or what?
No, I'm just glad you finally were honest at the very end. Why are we closing this and we making money?
Because
That would be
Cal
like
was
us. We do a show, it's like 3 a.m. It's like, okay, people gotta go home. You're like, are you kidding? You see how much money? No, keep those doors open.
I'm not a taskmaster here, bro. I'm all for the people. You know,
No, but here's I think the thing where the readership is probably in sync with me is that this line was enjoyable. People liked it. Stories were good. It was being executed well, and we're not getting that from the Marvel Universe proper. We're just not. I can't. I was talking with Pete the other day, asking him what he was reading, and it's like, yeah, he was mentioning some stuff, but none of it's. I can't mention any Marvel books outside of the Ultimate, Ultimate, outside of the Ultimate line. The 616 universe where, and I really would love for somebody to give me a recommendation, like, here, check this out. It's good, really good writing. Everything just seems to be like on its own thing. It's like, eternal immortal Thor, infernal Hulk. I don't know who these guys are anymore. And then there's always, they're always going back to a no. It's like everything's like about a year, 18 months, and it's back to a number one. It's just like the Wild West over there right now. So when you look at something like the Ultimate line, you're like, well, wait a minute, there's actually a cohesive story with characters that are seem more recognizable than the main universe, that's hard to let go of. As a reader, that's hard to let go of. So I'm totally with you there in terms of the for the readership, the collective shock that this was actually selling and Marvel of all people is saying no, we're going to let this run out. That Marvel somehow now has this artistic integrity. Yeah, that's it's just not a cool place to be. I can't recommend anything. Now it makes it I can't recommend anything for Marvel. I couldn't recommend anything 616, and I can't recommend. Well, the best I could do with the Ultimate line is, hey, get it while it's there.
When
Yeah.
when the Ultimate books came out and the regular Spider-Man books were dipping, the answer wasn't to get rid of the other one. The answer was to um, find some talent that would boost the numbers of the regular titles, with Straczynski, who had a long run on the title, and I think he was at some point he was covering both titles. So that's usually the answer. But they both Spider-Man books are doing well. So and then it looks like there's a couple coming out of the month. But if you look back at this same site, and on this same site, I'm gonna put it back up. It says the hot properties are start from Absolute DC, and at the bottom is Ultimate Spider-Man. So even if it's not my cup of tea, as far as a producer, I would just say, well, let them keep doing it. You know, what do I know? Like the thing, I think the same instance of who is it? This is just as far as art director. Who's that guy? John Romita looked at Todd McFarlane's Hulk and was like, "This isn't working," right? And then he wanted him moved off of it. And then when Todd had talked to the Spider-Man people, and then he saw him on Spider-Man, and he was like, and then the things was blowing up, and he was like, "Well, the Hulk could have had that same thing. I'm not touching Todd now. I'm not going to do anything because we could have had success. He does 2 books a month. We could have, bigger success on the Hulk, and Spider-Man has got numbers." So he was like, pointed out he was wrong to push him out. So, because he was feeling like there wasn't the classic Spider-Man. So what usually works is what you should go by. And if you're writing out something that's successful, say like or maybe it's not big success but got some buzz, you write it out. You comic books, you change it, there'll be people complaining afterwards, but you just do that because everything changes back and forth in comics. Characters die, characters come back, since the even since the early days of comic books, since the 40s and 50s and the Silver Age. So you can always change it back to whatever you want. But most of the time when people talk about that type of stuff, they're talking about Thor and Thunderstrike, where neither are selling that much, and maybe Thunderstrike is selling a bit more, but it's just the same people that were reading Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends' Thor just moving over to Thunderstrike. So you can see it and say neither are making us that much money, but Thor is sinking because the same team are following the character of Eric Masterson. Eric Masterson took over the book for a period. Now he's on another book. And then Thor is struggling because you have Ron Mars and Starlin not really focused on what they wanted to do. And even they say, don't look at those books. So the thing is, you don't, unless you have something that's low, like, like when the Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee came on the Marvel books. Whether I love the Captain America, they're looking at what's the numbers of the Avengers. Can we get these numbers up on Captain America 2? And they did. So regretfully, story wise and critical wise, it was a bad decision. Sales wise, what do? They did what they needed to do for their low selling books. And Marvel, it was not too little, too late. It was just too late. They put more talent on the books, but it was just too late. So when you're fixing something, this isn't that situation. This is a situation where you got a hot property. What do you do with it? Then the only thing that happens is another 6 months, a year, it's like, hey, can you come back and do the story again? Like that's just what happens. And then you've lost all the momentum that you've had. The same like Burn on She-Hulk. You get rid of Burn, thing is a top 10 book outside of when the X crossovers happen. And then when he comes back, it's one of the lowest selling books after that. You can't pull the thing back up. So,
Or you can say, hey, we
oh,
got our top artists locked into this stuff, and we think we have a better thing that could be done. Right?
they
That's all I'm
already
saying.
have Spider-Man going.
Yeah,
With
well,
said
probably
Miles.
they probably want to bring up the Avengers. Probably want to put more bodies on X-Men. I don't know, but what I do know is DC ain't getting rid of the Absolute Universe right now, right, Cal? Right, Cal?
Nope.
See,
No, they're not.
Cal, exactly right. It
What
will
are they
eventually
doing right
end.
now? Why are they
It
getting? Why
will end
they?
right now.
Why
They're
are they
winning.
ending it?
They're making money. They're making the Absolute is making money. Is winning awards. You know what I'm trying to say? It's the gem right now of the DC universe.
Of the
Okay,
Marvel universe.
the DC
You
universe.
know, the Ultimate or Absolute?
Absolute.
Why are we talking about Absolute now?
As a comparison to the Marvel universe. They're not ending the Ultimate. Okay, that's all we're saying. Look, ultimately, ultimately, if the Ultimate universe is going to sunset, it sunsets. What can we do? You know, we can't bring it back out of the hole that they're in.
Yes, we can.
No, we can't.
Ultimate Incursion, Ultimate Spider-Man's a hot property. It's not in the hole.
Ultimate X-Men. What's her name? What's the Ultimate? The what's
Yeah,
name?
and all they need to do is go back. The Ultimate Wolverine was in the top 10. So Ultimate
Yeah,
Bleach Momoko is down. Ultimate Wolverine is doing well.
Ultimate Avengers. I don't know. Look, it's the fact of the matter is, I think they just wanted to repurpose, and there's nothing wrong with that. Feige understands what needs to be done, and so far, we follow what Feige is saying.
No, we
Okay,
don't. We don't. Excuse me.
Cal, he doesn't quite understand that we have a resume. Can you enlighten him, please?
Oh my god.
About what? He's right. Hey, look, okay, I understand what you're doing. I don't disagree. I know we got to do a show, but come on,
Thank you.
let's be real. If the shoe was on the other foot, let's say we did something over here for Spinner Rack and it's working, it's selling. We do a web comic and it's selling. And I'm like, you know what? Out of artistic integrity, the series has to stop because this is where the story ends, so on and so forth. I could see you taking off your shoe and bitch slapping me across the room with it. Like, are you out of your mind? You know how much money we're making? No, we can't stop this now. You'd come over here, you'd knock me out, tie me to the chair, keep my hands right above. Keep writing. Don't stop writing until the money stops. I'll tell you when to stop. When the money stops, that's when you stop writing and not before.
Okay,
All
but you see
jokes
that
aside,
that did happen to us, though.
yeah. All jokes aside, though, all jokes aside, uh, it's the same point I made earlier. You have something successful here. The readerships like it. I can understand if it was successful, like because like New 52 initially was successful, it made
Yeah.
money, but there was such a distaste for it at the end of the day that in spite of the money they made, it wasn't going to be sustainable. You knew that was the case. This was going to eventually run out of steam, like all things like this run out of steam, and it was not going to be sustainable because it was pretty much new money. These are people who were coming in because, oh, Action Comics won, you know, Detective Comics won, a whole bunch of variant covers. They really pulled out the stops for that, but it wasn't going to be sustainable because the foundation was no good. This, however, you have a very good story, a directed storyline. It is a quality product. So to see something like that, okay, we're going to stop this, but what do we get in return? We're not getting anything. We're really not getting anything out of Marvel that I can say would go along with this. And hey, for those of you listening, if you're reading Marvel and there's something you want to recommend, please let me know. I want to review something good. Put it in the comments. I'll read it. And if it's good, I'll definitely review it. See if I can drag one of the guys with me to read it. But as of right now, there's nothing like this. So getting rid of this just seems like a bad move. It seems like there's some behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about. But the whole idea that you have this, it is successful. It is a quality product, and it's across different issues. I can understand if it was only Spider-Man selling. That's not the case for the line. So you've got this thing here, it's working, it's clicking better than what you're doing right now. It should give you some time, just like Petey said, where okay, we this should give us like a little, some time when we can try to get people on these books so we can, try to match the quality that we're doing over here. And instead it's going to be, well, we're not doing it here and we're going to stop doing it here. That is the curious and very disappointing thing at the end of the day. There does not seem to be a commitment to quality right now at Marvel, which is we're just putting images on paper and seeing what the hell happens.
Those are some strong words, Cal. I don't know if I will agree with that in our synopsis of what we talked about today.
What's the last Marvel book you read that you liked?
I've been reading Incursions. I read Punisher, the mature one, the plastic bag one, the baggies. I forgot what it's called.
You
I'm
read
reading a
that?
couple of them. Yeah, I'm reading that. Yeah,
He needs a bunch of stuff.
yeah, I read a bunch of stuff. PD disagrees with some of the stuff I read with, but hey,
I'm just
I disagree
surprised.
with you
What
reading
you
that too.
read?
I disagree with you reading that and then saying, "Hey, I enjoyed it." You shouldn't enjoy that.
it's pure trash. That's what I'm saying. You want to see it's like a B movie. You used to turn on Channel 9 to see the westerns and that's what you want to see. People complain, oh, we don't have Punisher. They changed it with the weird sign. Now they got the Punisher back to this roughly the same sign. Oh, we don't have to the guns with the Punisher. Now you got the Punisher back to the. I can't. You can't win with you people, bro.
Who's
One
you
way or
people?
you people, the ephemeral you people, whoever it is, we're always against whatever things that happen. Look, let's close it out. Let me get my normal synopsis and
Good Lord,
what the
stop it!
agreement.
Stop it!
So
We don't know
uh,
why they did this, and the fact is that both titles are rolling, um, and you got Hickman. You don't necessarily want to. It doesn't seem like he's that upset about it, but at the same time, they're not paying anybody else at Marvel, so he probably has a decent contract. Everyone else is complaining about the how much they're making at Marvel, so only imagine that. I'm giving my closing thing is that hey, maybe they want to cut the rate, but you don't want to upset this guy, right? He can go to DC and they can give him, a whole line of books, and then they'd be hugely successful. But Marvel don't seem to care anyway.
so you just took my
Yeah,
synopsis.
I did. I'm sorry.
You doggone
You're
thief.
totally right.
You
I'm
know,
sorry.
you said you're gonna
Realized
get
how
out
I
of here, and then you
did it.
just did your own, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
sorry. I apologize.
Cal and I veto it. That's what I gotta say. We veto it. So if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spin a rack. You are.
You're out.
Out.